guys, and welcome to the Series 44 Winter La La Land event, American Dream. Yeah, 800 American All-Star cars, and you win a Dodge SRT Demon, and, well, water slides pizza. But I would like to point out that our resident American did not want to take part in this, celebration of American cars event, yeah, which is un-American. I suggest you deport him immediately.
Yes, go right ahead.
To, I don't know, Guatemala or something.
Are you doing the Elon Musk salute?
No, I mean, Musk is so terribly misunderstood because that was not a Nazi salute. He was giving everyone his heart. Except if you'd ever seen a Nazi salute ever, you'd go, that's a Nazi salute, definitely. And weirdly enough, every German, I saw this journalist guy walking around with the video clip interviewing people in Germany, showing them the clip, asking, is this a Nazi salute? Every single one of them looked completely horrified. Yes, that is definitely, and he would be going to jail if he did that in Germany.
Oh.
Yeah.
To be fair, you probably deserve to go to jail if you've gone to Germany.
What? No, we're talking about Elon Musk. You're a typical extasio.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, if you go to Germany...
you have an opinion on what we were talking about.
I've been listening for a minute or two.
No,
I've not
haven't.
just... I have.
No,
I've been sat here listening.
Yeah, jeez. Oh, by the way, Extasio, aren't you from, originally, from around Manchester?
Sorry? The what?
Aren't
Run that by me again.
Originally from around Manchester, sort of.
Yeah, I'm from central Manchester, yeah.
Okay. I actually saw a documentary about Manchester yesterday. Around the River Irk.
Okay, was it a current time, or was it an old documentary?
Well, it was about a development that they're doing near the railway, and
now,
and what they dug up of the earth in connection with this, which is quite interesting, actually. But I mean, who the hell named that river? IRK, Irk.
It's one of your lot, I think. As far as I know, it was a Northumbrian king, so he will have been Viking of descent at least.
Yeah,
I'd have to look into it. There's another one. There's another river that crosses it further south, which probably wasn't in the documentary, called the Irwell, and it's an extension of the Irk. So I don't know, but it's not an Anglo term. It's not a Saxon term. So I don't know.
It's not a Norse term either. Not that
who knows then? It could be Roman, possibly. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Manchester's got, considering it's not the capital of England, it's got a really deep history to it because
did the Romans
Vikings
get up that far?
Yeah, the Romans got to Manchester. Yeah.
They got to Hadrian's Wall, didn't they?
Yeah.
Duh.
So did the Vikings, but not in the same way as they did in the northeast.
Yeah, the Vikings
became sort of. Yeah, they came in a diplomatic way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we did.
So there was Vikings.
Shit and let us rape your women. Oh, you say no? Well, let me cut off your head. Very diplomatic.
No, Vikings were mostly in the northeast, where the concentration of power was until was it Alfred? I can't remember his name. Yeah, took over west in the southwest of England, but it was the northeast and the southwest that was mostly Viking controlled. Although the Vikings were obviously all over the UK, or all over Britain at least, but they weren't in power in all those places. They would
No,
They
no,
had their own little
they
provinces.
were just. I mean, they came and they pillaged and they raped and then, well, they also stayed behind and sort of, eventually
Settled, made settlements,
settled.
but they did a lot. Yeah, okay, but we all pillaged and raped. You know, like I'm not throwing the stone living in a glass window. I think every civilization's done that, but they did a lot of good things for England as well, and Scotland. You know, so
And,
they introduced a lot of things that we didn't have.
Well, so did the Romans. I mean, the Romans.
So did the Romans, yeah. So did the Romans. The Romans never got to Scotland. Like the Vikings in the Scottish, that they seem to. Yeah, they had a few fights for sure, but they got along after that.
Yeah, I think
the Romans weren't allowed into Scotland. Scotland hated the Romans.
I think, the Romans were order and civility and, everything in its place, and the Scottish, well, they're not.
They were more like the Viking culture, yeah.
And,
it was
I think
more commonalities.
the reason the Vikings and the Scottish got along, sort of, was because, well, the Vikings wanted to kill the British. And the Scottish have always been
English,
very much for if some British or English people got killed.
That's been the case with most invading forces. They've come to conquer England and they end up having the Welsh, the Irish and the Scottish against England because they already are predisposed to be against England at that point in time, and possibly now to some extent if it kicked off.
Oh, I don't know.
If it kicked off in the UK, I'm sure Wales, Scotland and Ireland would team up.
If there was an invading force, say Russia invaded, I'm pretty sure they would stand with the British.
If it came from outside of the UK,
if it was an internal thing, those three would definitely kick the English
the gang up, the team up, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. and historically, they have quite a lot of reasons to hate you.
To be fair, I can't. Well, I mean, I think a lot of the world has, to be fair.
Yeah, a little bit.
But then again, much like the Vikings, for as much damage as we've done, and we also have introduced a lot of good things for a lot of places. So I don't know. It's just history, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure that most of Asia, Africa, pretty much most of the world
don't say it because,
disagree with you quite a lot.
Slavery, right, I'm going to say it now, because slavery had been going for about 1,800 years before the British stopped it.
Slavery has existed for as long as there's been people.
Okay, but from an economical, as an economy, as a basis of an economy, the British are the first people to stop it worldwide. In fact, we did stop it. Our Navy stopped it.
I can't remember if we were first or you were first, but it's something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
actually, slavery is a big thing in Denmark currently because some slightly brown woman has made a drama documentary series about the West Indies, where we very famously was part of the slave trade. We would say sell slaves from Africa to the West Indies and then molasses and sugar and shit the other way to Denmark, and then commodities down to Africa, etc. And it has not gone well, this drama documentary, because, well, it might not be at all anything to do with what happened in reality.
The real problem with slavery, obviously there's a lot of problems with slavery, but the problem with the way slavery is being taught to people is that it's often focused through a transatlantic, US, European slave trade, when realistically that's only a very small part of slavery. Like, slavery is, as you said, it's everywhere. It has been everywhere.
What you're talking about is that triangle thingy. And that was Africa to the Americas to Europe to Africa.
With the Portuguese, Spanish, British, and everybody else.
Pretty much everyone at one point.
Which from a black American's perspective, I understand why that's the focus. But from a global perspective, there was actually more slaves in Arabia than there was anywhere else.
No. There were a lot of Europeans that were made slaves in the Arabians. Yes. but
Well, there was more black African slaves in Arabia than there was in America at its height.
That's probably true. I don't know.
Yeah,
Care.
it's documented, and they used to. The reason there's not more black people in Arabia as there is in the Americas is because they used to castrate the males. Only 1 in 6 made it, but yeah.
Well,
They calculate it's about 11 million over 1,000 years. It was a lot of people, and it was a long time before the
well,
European
it is
slave
also
trade.
a lot easier to walk them up to the desert than it is to sail them
exactly.
across the Atlantic.
Yeah, well, they weren't even needing to. They were just contacting African leaders, and they were selling them their own people, or
that's
the
way that most
opposition.
slaves were actually traded.
Yeah, I know. It's just fucked. It's the history of mankind, isn't it?
But
Great.
I actually, all of that slavery thing got me to reading about the slavery, or the part that we were involved in. And we very famously sold the Virgin Islands to America. And we, I think it was, I can't even remember how much it was. I think it was $25 million in gold. And one thing that was ratified that we under no circumstances would bend on would be that we got Greenland fair and square. Hands off America, no more. Technically, America had a claim to Greenland, to the north of Greenland, thanks to their explorers. But they said, fine, Greenland is all yours. We will never do anything about Greenland again. So,
Trump's not exactly big on treaties.
No, he isn't. I mean, look at the tariffs. I mean, the current trade agreement he has with Mexico and Canada, who was it that negotiated and signed that?
That would be him.
That would be Trump.
That would be him. That would be him.
Yeah.
Well, all the more reason for him to go back on it. Right?
At the time of the treaty, though, was, to be fair, and well, it's not fair, none of it's fair, it's fucking stupid, but at the time of the treaty, the demands were different. Like resources today, the demands are different, and maybe Greenland's rich in something, I don't fucking know, but I'm guessing it is.
Yeah, but that doesn't
thinking
matter.
they probably didn't know the value of lithium back in those days.
They signed away their claim to anything Greenland in that agreement.
Yeah,
and then you
Not
can't
yeah,
go.
but
Well, I know.
I'm an American, and I'm with Woz on this one.
I know we signed it away, but now 50 years later, you found gold, so it's actually worth something. So we don't want to sign it away anymore. It doesn't work like that.
There's a lot of that in history.
It's like if you go to a secondhand store, you buy a closet, you pay a certain amount of money for it, you get it home, you find out it's filled with money. Oh, crap. You then contact the place you bought it and say, oh, this is filled with money. Oh, the price suddenly went up. You can't do that.
But it's
not
a rare situation. Like, since I've been in Spain, so 30 years, they've been fighting over Gibraltar, the British and the Spanish, and it's starting to lean more and more towards it's going back to Spain.
Yeah. Well,
so that's a treaty that they've gone back on. And Tubbs is just left at the wrong time. But the Spanish king has also got a claim on Texas, but he'll never execute it. That would never come into practice now in the real world. But in theory, in the agreements, he could.
Yeah, was that Texas prior to it being Mexican?
I think it was during the time of Los Alamos, that era. Is it Mexican?
Well, back then it was Mexican.
Yeah, maybe. It depends on what side of the fence you were.
Mexican-American War.
Yeah.
That's what they fought about.
And that's what the Alamo was about, was getting independence from Mexico.
And I think the King of Spain's got claims on it since.
And,
I don't know.
Remember the Alamo, like it's a good thing. And the Americans got their asses whooped at the Alamo. Yes. But anyway, the car I was using was the 2011 Hot Wheels Bone Shaker. And the tune I was using would be my Roadshow. I think. Yep, this one. There you go. 684-531-676. And remember, as always, if you happen to use one of my tunes, please remember to like it. The same goes for the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. Bye-bye.